Hello everyone, this is Ember and this is part 2 of 10 tips to protect your troops. I'm just going to go ahead and pick up right where we left off from part 1 and start with tip number 6. Reinforcements and Garrison. There are 4 parts to this tip. First, ask for reinforcements. One of my favorite tricks is having a much larger player reinforce a smaller one to bait attacks. The reason for this? This particular developer has added this really sneaky feature, which I absolutely love, because it throws a plot twist into the mix. And when defending, the defender takes on the highest stats of whichever is the most powerful player reinforcing. On the report, it will show as you, but the stats will be that of whomever was the strongest. This is so much fun when the attacker is none the wiser. We use this in Capital Clash frequently because we have several near max players, so having one of us showing in a tower or the capital will actually discourage many attacks. But if we switch it out and one of our lower powered players shows up at the top, it amazes me how many more people are willing to attack, even though they'll have the same results. You can go to your assembly point, click on reinforcements, and that will display exactly how many reinforcements you can accept within your base. Number 2, reinforcing a shielded base. And it doesn't look like I have. Oh, here we go. We have one individual, one of our newer players that I guess was used to shielding. Don't really need to shield in NBS, but I applaud the effort. If anyone else wanted to hide their troops in a base, sticking them in a shielded base gives you that extra measure of protection unless their shield drops. So keep that in mind. You might want to find out who, or if you're a player who shields, you might want to say, hey, in Alliance chat, I'm throwing up a shield. Feel free to put your troops in for the next 8 hours. Number 3, reinforce a whale base or any of your strongest players. We happen to have a few in our alliance. Misha, my good friend Misha, would be our maxed player. If I click on this whale base, it'll show you how much the reinforcement capacity is. Of course, I'm only going to be able to fit my march in here, but there's clearly plenty of room. So I could go ahead, send my troops to his base, and they are going to be much safer in his base than they would in my own. Odds are no one's going to attack him. If they do, they're still going to be in a better situation than if they were in my base. Not that my base is bad, just want to clarify, but his is definitely a little bit stronger. And 4th, send your troops to garrison the Alliance headquarters or towers. Most people don't think to look there, and there are strength in numbers. So if you have enough reinforcements in one or more of these buildings, your troops may be safer than they would at home. And of course, that defensive stats advantage I mentioned applies here as well. So if I send troops, it says 150, but this actually will take on however many your rally size is. Now click on Garrison, now click on Info, and it will show, right now I'm not boosted, so 983,281 troops. So plenty of room for individuals to fill in. Tip number 7, Relocators. Advanced, Alliance, random porting can potentially get you out of a sticky situation. We can go into our backpacks. There they are. We have Alliance relocators, we have advanced relocators, and then these random relocators. I have to tell you, this is the one thing that kind of makes me a little bit crazy in this game. So many people will port just before an attack lands, and while in most games I've played, porting away would make an attack or a rally insta-hit, in this game, it does not. So keep that in mind. Keep some extra ports stocked up in your backpack just in case you find yourself in a bind and need to get out of a pinch. It works. Tip number 8, encampments. Now, I have never seen as many people utilize camps in other games as much as they do here, and depending on whether or not your state has any self-imposed or enforced rules about attacking, this may or may not be a great idea for you. Now, with encampments, you can either send them just out to some random place by clicking and then hit occupy. Might want to consider boosting your march size if you're trying to get as many out as possible. You can do this in a couple different places. Or you can go out to the map. Everything moves much more slowly when it goes through the capital area. So if you click on somewhere that's going to be forcing your troops to walk through that area, let's say right over here, I can send them all the way over here. And I don't know if you saw that or not, but look at the march time, 34 minutes there and back. So I can do this. Now, I'm going to end up pulling these back because I don't truly want them to walk for that long. So, oops, wrong one. If we click on the march, I can hit locate troops and then hit recall. And I'll do this with the other one as well. That could have kept my troops out for a good hour and 8 minutes anyhow, if I wanted to do that. So just something to think about. You can pull them back anytime you're ready, but that will get them at least out of your base if you're under attack. And if you're sending them further away, great. It might be harder for them to be found. Maybe scatter them around the map. Might even want to consider saving a few places on your bookmarks just so that they're easy to find quickly. Number 9 is resource tiles. So let's take a look. Much like encampments, this can be kind of risky. You have to use your best judgment because they can be attacked, especially during a kill event. Kind of depends on what your rules are that you follow within your state. But you'll notice if you just click on gather, it's going to only send the minimum number of troops that it takes to gather the resources that are on that particular tile. That doesn't mean that you can't send more. So if I hit equalize, that's going to fill up my march and I can send these out, get rid of more of my troops that way. Now, I have more troops than I can actually get out in all of my marches, even if I maximize my march by using the talents here and also the talents within my settlement. The settlement buff down here at the bottom. So, you know, I'm in a different situation, but that's not usually the case for the majority of individuals that might need to use this tactic. So that's just food for thought. And lastly, but certainly not least, ghost rallies. A ghost rally is a really long rally meant to make your troops unavailable for an attack. Let me show you what I mean. So actually, I'll go ahead and recall these just so you can see. Let me show you exactly what I mean. So if we actually go up here, click on Army, you'll see that I have a little over 1 million troops right now. Notice that they're all home. You can tell that because I have the same number on both sides next to each troop. Now, if I go out here and let's say that I am trying to make a bunch of troops disappear. Let me find some things that I can set rallies on. Here we go. So here's an example. I can click on this. I can click rally. I have the option of setting different time amounts. If I want to keep my troops safer even longer, I'm going to go ahead and hit 60 minutes. I can cancel this rally at any time. In fact, before I actually do this, let me let my team know. Okay, so now I'm going to click on this. I'm going to hit rally. I'm going to go with the longest amount of time. And you'll notice the march time, since I selected something way over on the other side of the map that goes through the capital, it shows 35 minutes. That's going to give me plenty of time. But remember, I can cancel anytime I want. So I click on that. Now let's go back up again and look at the army. You'll notice when you look at the executioners, the death cruisers, the bullseyes, those troops that I have out, they're not available right now. So if you do this a few times, especially if you're boosting your march capacity like I showed you, you can get a lot of troops out of here. And if you pair that with other things that I showed you, like going into your bunker and hiding as many of those troops as you can, every time you do something like this, it's going to reduce the number of troops available. You can see that also with the total troops at the top. Easy to do, makes your troops unavailable so they're not getting attacked. You can come in here anytime you're ready and hit disband. And we'll also pull these troops out of the bunker. Now if we go back up, all of my troops are home. See how easy that was? My final words of advice for you: play smarter, not harder. A little bit of strategy goes a long way. I hope that you found at least one piece of information that you can put into use in your own gameplay. Best of luck to you, and if you found this to be at all beneficial, please comment and/or subscribe, and don't forget to share this with your friends in game too.